Legacy versus success. What a topic, and what a need perhaps to explain. When my children were very young, I was divorced with a kindergartner and a fourth grader. And for me, success meant giving them private school, giving them a secure home, giving them a nice place to live, giving them that opportunity to participate in all of the games, the soccer games, basketball games, track meets, and all the things they wanted to do. And success was important to me, which is why I ended up founding so many companies. I have founded 6 companies at this point. And it was founding these companies and being a success. And in the meantime, also creating influence and impact. But I became one of the pioneers in the United States in integrative healthcare. And it was important to me to do that because in addition to being successful and able to provide for my children, I also wanted to make this world a better place. That was my external motivation. When I stop now at this point, when my children are grown and they don't need me anymore in that way, I look at what about legacy? What does that look like? What does that mean for me? Success has been wonderful and I want more of it because it gives me the freedom to live the life I want to live. It gives me the freedom to be as philanthropic as I want to be. It gives me the freedom to live the journey that keeps unfolding and my interests that keep expanding, my desires that keep changing and growing as I do. Simultaneously, the legacy. How is it that I want to be remembered? And we can do that. We create a legacy. We can recreate it consciously or we can create it unconsciously. And frequently we're doing both. We have impact. And this is so important, which is why I say every one of us is called to leadership. We have impact. We have influence in ways we don't even realize. I mentioned earlier, I was speaking to somebody the other day. She said, "You do realize you're an icon, correct?" I thought, my God, that would never cross my mind as a word to reference to myself. But thank you. Thank you. And someone else mentioned it to me later on in the same day at another Zoom call I was on with someone and thought, whoa, when you hear something 2 or 3 times, you need to let that register. What does that mean? And can I own it? Can I sit up taller and can I own how other people see me, even if it is not how I see myself? And when you realize that, when you realize how other people see you, you begin to recognize you're creating a legacy. You're creating an image that's hopefully built in authenticity, that's built on this is who I truly am, perhaps not who I saw because I wasn't looking that closely in the mirror. I was living my life. I wasn't looking at the image I was projecting. Very different. But I call myself in each of you how to live consciously, how to impact others consciously, not with an agenda, not with some exterior ultra motivation that's about an agenda I have, but much more about I want to make this world a better place. What do I want to be known for? And as we go through our own journeys, whatever yours may include, we've acquired immense amount of wisdom if we chose to. Knowledge we develop, we learn. Wisdom is a result of taking the time to listen in silence. Wisdom is the result of listening to your own reflections on what you've done, what you haven't done, what you said or didn't say sometime today. To me, that's the purpose of meditation in the evening or prayer, contemplation, journaling, whatever works for you. Time to sit down and reflect on your day. What wisdom have you acquired? Because that wisdom truly is the legacy you create. And I say that because in my reflections, I was remembering something my son said to me a while back. My life, and you can read about that anywhere in great detail, but it's about coming from an orphanage and being raised in the housing projects and becoming a Catholic nun for a number of years, and becoming an international airline stewardess, becoming a mother, becoming a psychotherapist, becoming a graduate professor, and becoming a clinical instructor at medical school, and forming a nonprofit, forming an institute, leaving the country and living on Anguilla, a very small little island in the Caribbean, for 10 years, and coming back and becoming co-chair of the advisory board of a multi-million-dollar grant. Many, many, many things as life keeps going on. And my son wrote me a letter once and said to me, Mom, a legacy you left for his sister and he was that you can continuously reinvent yourself. You can continuously become whatever it is you want to be. You can continuously change how you live your life. You continuously change your positioning, whether that's where you live, the job you have, or how you see the world. And if the legacy I left for my son and my daughter was that they can continue changing how they do their lives, they can change their careers midstream, they can do whatever their hearts desire. That's legacy. That is leaving a message that says to them, follow your heart, follow your soul. Live the life you envision for yourself. And as you grow, as you mature, as you develop greater wisdom and greater self-awareness, as you develop a greater sense of how you fit in the world, you will have more and more ability to become more and more of everything you're called to be, more and more of everything your heart and your soul leads you to. That is only one element of the legacy I want to leave. What's the elements that you want to leave? What's the message you want to leave to those you leave behind? What is the message? And this isn't sad. This isn't, oh my God, I'm going to die someday. Welcome to life. We're all going to die someday. But let's not do so until we've actually lived and absolutely fully lived life and lived it fully. What is that going to look like for you? What is the legacy you want to leave? That's one of mine. There are so many more I want to leave, so many more. So it calls for reflection. What else can I do? What other messages do I want to leave behind to give others the freedom to live their life fully, vibrantly, and passionately? What freedom do I want to offer others that they may not have had permission to pick up and run with on their own? Take a look at you. What is the legacy you want to leave? We can talk about it later in my next videos. Thank you.